Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining today's episode of the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on inside the house. Bring yourself up your ringside seat. Get your soda, your popcorn, your whiskey. Get everything you need. We watch TV today, WrestleMania Rewind.
Well, I need you to get your 13-inch black and white or barely Technicolor TV. I need you to get your 13-inch set top. I need you to go up there and turn that dial to channel 3. You know what I'm talking about. Turn that down to channel 3. Then I need you to take your VHS tape and put your VHS tape into your VCR. I need you to hit fast forward. Not none of that digital shit. I don't need you in there trying to find no folders or none of that. Now I need you to hit fast forward and watch the 2 gray bars on the TV blink while you watch your guys wrestle in super fast motion. Well, not super fast because we're talking 1987 technology.
Rest holds galore.
Absolutely. I need you to see the rest holds go in like instant minute, but I need you to fast forward all the way up until the upcoming WrestleMania inductee special match.
Yeah. We're going to talk about a good thing here with the Hall of Fame. You might say, "But boys, y'all talked about the Hall of Fame last episode." Yeah,
I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah. They screwed us out of some stuff, so we gotta.
Yeah, we're not gonna. So apparently, the phone calls were made. Things have happened, but we got a lot of extra Hall of Fame. This is like a bonus
episode
of Hall of Fame talk because with some stuff done changed since we made our quote unquote predictions and called our likes and dislikes. So
we'll talk about them predictions here in a minute. Let's get to our sponsor first. Got to talk about Maker's Mark. Ooh boy, what an experience that was. Maker's Mark, thank you for having us on your grounds.
Unfortunately, we didn't broadcast from there. We didn't have sense enough to we talked about it before we left too. Remember, we were like, do we take the equipment? But then we were like, we ain't got no producer. We got to kind of do it on our own. And as soon as that was said out loud, that went out the window.
We was too much like Ric Flair in there, man. How we gonna record like Ric Flair?
That's why I said there was when I realized like there was no producer and we were going to do all this by ourselves. Yeah. I'm like, this ain't gonna happen because I'm not gonna be in condition to be recording no show with what we had planned to do this weekend.
We were flying high, fine as wine, having ourselves a big and good time.
Absolutely.
We were doing it up. Thank you, Maker's Mark. We appreciate it. We brought back a beautiful selection from your catalog. Stewards released the 2026 release. Hot, coming in hot, another one, 113.9 proof.
Yeah, I mean we're throwing bangers out there before Mania. We're hitting their body over the head now. So everything's over 100 proof. So we're going straight.
Yeah. So cheers to upcoming WrestleMania. Here we go.
All right. Don't drink it all now. We got some more cheersing to do here.
Woo. Ooh.
Thankful for the rocks today. I prefer mine, as we know. Take my whiskey on the rocks.
Yeah, I'm straight up and neat.
So I prefer my whiskey on the rocks, and I appreciate those rocks because that cooled it down a little bit.
All right, we got to talk about a new announced inductee into this year's Hall of Fame.
Past due, which we mentioned that last week. So we're just going to extend this week. Past due.
We're talking about the one, the only Bad News Brown.
Bad News Brown heading into the Hall of Fame. Now, I know there's people out there saying, what the hell did Bad News Brown do to earn himself a Hall of Fame moniker here? And as I think about it, I don't know. But what I do know is... I
don't know. You tell me.
Well, what I do know is that man's brown, so he needs to get his ass in the Hall of Fame. If Triple H is making room in the Hall of Fame for a brown brother, we're gonna open that spot up.
Did Triple K sign off on this one?
I don't know who did or who didn't, but I know what's happening, and that's happening. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, Bad News was revolutionary for his time. He was kind of that first shoot fighter type style of wrestler. He was, say, Ken Shamrock before Ken Shamrock came around.
He was a good talker too.
Yeah, he was definitely a good talker. He would talk that trash, but he would get in there. And I mean, I remember his move, the Ghetto Blaster, the kick behind the back of the head. You don't see that now. Like, you still never see that move, which there's versions of it, the different variations of guys kicking in the back of the, but he was just, he just walk up to you, just straight kick you in the back of the head. But he brought that UFC style feel, he brought that reality to it where you look at that guy and say, damn, that guy could probably kick my ass in real life. I need to back up a little bit.
Anybody want to look at Bad News Brown from back in the day, go back and watch it. But if you're sitting there going, man, I don't know how I'm gonna go back and watch it. Who would I compare this guy to? Like in either the 80s, 90s, or running into the 2000s into today. Who would you give a good comparison? Who is most like Bad News Brown? Is there anybody out there right now?
Well, it depends on what you do. Like, style wise, I would say guys like Bobby Lashley. I would say guys like Ron Simmons and a lot of those guys pulled from what Bad News did, right? Because again, going into that, and I'll talk about it from a black wrestler standpoint. Going into those days, you didn't have very many. You had Junkyard Dog,
right?
You had Coco Beware.
Right.
Those were your two top names as far as WWE went. Those were the two biggest, black wrestler names that we had. And both of them were good guys. Both of them were faces. Both of them really did, they were pleasing to the fans. They came out and they smiled. They had fun. Bad News Brown had none of that. Bad News came out there with a snarl on his face. He had his gloved up fist and he would rub his fist and just tell you, hey, I'm about to beat you down and there ain't nothing you can do about it. And that's what's going to happen. And I feel like, at that time when Bad News was there, Ron Simmons was over in WCW doing the Doom thing with Butch Reed. Butch Reed was in WWE before Bad News Brown got there. So, we had representation, but not very much.
Right.
But even with Butch Reed, they had Butch Reed with blonde hair and they had him doing the whole natural gimmick and all that. Nowhere near what Bad News Brown was. Bad News looked like he had walked in right off the street, off of beating somebody's ass.
There you go.
And he was ready to come in.
A street fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you talk about, some of the matches that came out of it, some of the mannerisms a lot of people pulled from Bad News Brown. Hell, Diesel with the whole thing where he would rub his glove like that. He pulled that from Bad News Brown, whether he would say it or not.
I'll tell you somebody else who pulled from Bad News Brown, and I know you don't know too much of this because you wasn't an ECW fan, but New Jack.
Yeah.
New Jack, it was straight up Bad News Brown, just amped up to 11. New Jack was the same, come off the street fighter.
I can see that.
Just real rough, just no frills, all punches. Just that's how New Jack was. So
I can see that.
Straight up, like if you've never seen New Jack fight, then you saw Bad News Brown fight.
Okay, memorable moments for Bad News. And we got to mention a couple memorable moments because I'm the historian here. That's what I do. I got to remember stuff off the dome, as they call it. But WrestleMania 4, Bad News Brown was the second in I guess in row to before it was the Andre the Giant Battle Royal because Andre was still there, but the Battle Royal, Bad News Brown won the Battle Royal. Was that 4 or 5? That might have been 5, one of the two. I could be getting, I know it was in Trump's deal or whatnot. I know it was in his building. That's why I'm trying to block it out because it was a Trump event, but I digress. But he was the runner-up in the Battle Royal to Bret the Hitman Hart. And Bret Hart won the Battle Royal by eliminating Bad News Brown. And then Bad News got back in the ring afterwards, beat Bret Hart down and completely dead. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm remembering this completely wrong. I'm sorry. I went backwards. Now I'm picturing it in my mind, and then I'm realizing. So Bad News won the Royal Rumble or the Battle Royal, and then Bret Hart came in and back jumped him, and then destroyed Bad News' trophy. Got it. It took me a minute there, but I'm looking at it in my mind like, wait a minute. I remember.
So Frank had a little bit of a sponsor before we got on the air.
Yeah, it was a little deep in there, but no, I really wanted to remember that because that was a key moment. Bad News winning a Battle Royal at WrestleMania. That was a key moment. And then I wandered into the Bret Hart thing and the Trump thing, and it got funny, and I screwed up. But I fixed it. I got it straight. So on your VHS, you see what I'm talking about. The WrestleMania 6, when Bad News Brown wrestled Roddy Piper. That's where Roddy Piper did the infamous blackface skit.
The one that got blocked out from
the one you ain't going to see if you go on the network and go looking for it. But again, we're watching on VHS.
Correct.
So I got all that history over here. But yeah, that's where Roddy Piper had half his body painted black, and he wanted to, go out there and say, well, I could take all the beating for Bad News Brown because I got some of that and some of this and blah blah blah. Crazy segment when you look back at it, thinking,
was.
wow, that was 1990. Were we doing that in 1990? But we were doing that in 1990. It was a different time. But I mean, that's a segment that lives in infamy to this day, and it was attached to Bad News Brown. So things like that, the fact that Bad News didn't go out there and kill that man for doing that, playing in his face, as we call it in today's society, the fact that he went out there and kept it professional, did what he was supposed to do, didn't bitch, didn't complain, didn't really care. He's like, hey, I'm just doing business. I'm just working. And things like that are what make him memorable to me and make me understand why he would get a Hall of Fame nod.
Agreed. So welcome to the Hall of Fame, Bad News Brown. Great addition to the Hall of Fame. We also had another addition to the Hall of Fame. We got our match. We got our most memorable match for this year's Hall of Fame, and it is Hogan Andre at WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, so if there's any match that's more deserving, you'd have to dig in the archives and find one to tell me, because I have a hard time thinking about a match that's more important than Hogan and Andre. Wait a minute. I feel like I've said this before.
We've heard this before. We've talked about this before.
I feel like this is coming out almost like repeat. I feel like I've said this before. Have we covered this subject?
Are we in last week's episode?
Oh, it's coming from somewhere. Have we covered this subject? Did we go over this match?
I feel like we have.
Did we do a watch along with this match maybe?
I don't know.
Huh.
I feel like we have.
So we talked about this. We talked about Hall of Fame last week. Didn't we, at the end, didn't we just off the cuff, go into some of this?
I think we might have a mole in our midst, sir.
Huh. So you're saying that there's somebody that's listening and feeding information up to the top.
Somebody that may.
Now, know good and damn well, nobody in the office is allowed to listen to outside podcasts and all that. Nobody with a job and a paycheck coming from WWE can listen to that and feed information in. So who would you, if you had to take a wild guess, who possibly could be doing it? Who would have business savvy sense enough to feed this information to the top and say, hey, this is what people are talking about with a great damn reasoning behind it? Who would do this? And even if they were to do it, who would have enough pull to convince Triple H to take one of our suggestions and actually apply it to who would have that kind of pull? Who would have that stroke with him?
I heard that her grandfather was the one that just built, Madison Square Garden. He was the one that built that.
Patrick Ewing's grandfather?
I think not Patrick Ewing.
Oh, not Patrick Ewing.
Her name is a McMahon name.
Oh, huh. So you're thinking Stephanie might have caught wind of what we were putting down and maybe mentioned it along like pillow talk kind of thing. Like, did you ever think you should probably do something like
Hogan Andre in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I find it very, very ironic then that she popped up on this week's show.
True.
While that happened.
True.
I mean, because we ain't seen Stephanie on a Raw/SmackDown in a decade at least. We've seen her do WrestleManias. We see her do big time main events, but we haven't seen her do a Raw in a long time. And the first time she does it, damned if one of our ideas didn't immediately follow 3 days after it dropped.
Yep.
The irony there is not lost on me, sir.
Nope. And again, Hunter, look, like we've always said before.
Well, before we go too far, we got cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for paying attention to
Jeff.
what the fans are talking about and making it get into action.
So, Hunter, like we've said before to everybody else who has stolen our ideas in the past, just cite your sources, man. Show us some
kidding,
love.
Right?
Show us some love.
God, just put it out there and just
you
say, hey.
Tag this on Twitter and be like, when you put your post out about it, and I saw it, and I'm like, damn, he could he should have just tagged us.
I mean, why not?
Thanks for the great suggestion at Booker's Alliance. That's all you had to do.
He didn't even have to put that. He could have just simply tagged us to it and put like a high five or a waving sign, and I would have been like, you know
man.
What? Exactly. That's all we need. Because come on now. There's no way. I mean, completely off the cuff last week. We were talking about discussion. If there was going to be a match, much like last year, what match should it be?
Yep.
And I mean, we both had the instant. We hadn't discussed that beforehand. We hadn't prepped that.
That was total spontaneous conversation at the end of that.
No, it was just the obvious answer. I mean, so at WWE Vault, they put out some information around WrestleMania 3, and they showed some highlights of the match. So because of that, it just inspired that nostalgia in me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go back and watch the match. So now listeners out here, here's where you hit your play button.
Yep.
So you can follow along with some of the match, some of the highlights that we talk about, and then you can see it. The first thing I want to go over as far as that match goes, the pop.
Yeah.
When Hogan's music hit, Andre had no music. He rode his little cart down there and relaxed. When Hogan's music hit, and I mean, Hogan had a long walk down to the aisle. But when that music hit, I mean, 93,000 advertised paid fans stood up and lost their collective minds when that music hit. I mean, they were so hyped up after a 3.5 hour pay-per-view. They had so much energy for that. That was probably one of the greatest moments in wrestling history I've ever seen to this day.
So let's talk about that for a moment.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the Hogan pop that you're talking about right there. So I go back and forth with some of this, so I want to get your thoughts on it. Cody Rhodes.
Who?
Cody Rhodes is what they want right now to have a Hogan response. Would you agree or disagree with that?
It's definitely what they want. Absolutely.
It's what they want, right?
Yeah. Not the Hogan response from the last time we saw Hogan in LA.
The pop from that 93,000 at WrestleMania 3. That's what they want for Cody, right?
Yeah.
How did they get that for Hogan at WrestleMania 3? How did they get it?
So wrestling's a different beast than it was. That would be almost 40 years ago when that happened. Legit 39 years ago, 39 WrestleManias ago when that happened. Wrestling's a different beast now. Now, to get Cody to have that, there would have to be no other top baby faces. There would have to be nobody else out there that was anywhere near Cody's level to get that kind of pop, because that's what it was. We've talked about this before. The Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat match on that same event was by far the more superior wrestling match.
Right.
Bell to bell, holy hell. They're not even in the same world.
That's a T-shirt right there, sir.
There you go.
Bell to bell,
on the back, holy hell. I love it.
Love it.
Mark it. T-shirts.com, prowrestlingtees.com.
Yep, there we go. We can get that one.
So, yeah, I better not see that on a damn T-shirt.
No, if we see that, we know.
Next week, Steph will come out on SmackDown wearing that shirt.
Yep.
But needless to say, that'll be our shout-out. We'll take that if that's what needs to happen. But, yeah, bell to bell, those two matches weren't even in the same class. They shouldn't even have been on the same card.
Right.
If Hogan and Andre were just two big dudes that didn't have the moniker of those two names, that shit would have been in the that would have been the bathroom break match.
Yeah.
Because as far as a ring psychology and all that, trash. But those two guys doing that match, that's the most memorable thing I've ever known in wrestling.
Yep.
But again, now when you look at it today, Cody likes to say he's QB1.
He's not.
He can say it. I mean, I ain't mad at him for saying it.
He's more like he's a quarterback on the quarterback squad.
Yeah, he's there, right?
Yeah, he's there.
Or I would even take it a bit further. He's the quarterback of a team. Let's say hell, Roman's the star of his team. Cody's the star of his team.
Right.
Hell, every guy out there is the star of their own team because it's branded now. It's not specific. CM Punk's a quarterback on somebody's team. Randy Orton's a quarterback. There's way too many top guys at the bottleneck that are either gonna water Cody down or they're gonna compare to him too much. When Hogan was on top, there wasn't nobody else on top as far as babyface. Hogan was on top. You had Junkyard Dog as a babyface. You had Tito Santana, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I could name a laundry list of guys. Every guy I just said was a mid-card guy, and you knew it. There was no doubt in your mind that those were mid-card guys because Hogan was the guy. Cody, at this point now, he's just in a room of a bunch of future main eventers, future Hall of Famers, blah, 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 blah. Hell, he's just a guy. He can't be the Hogan guy. Roman can't be the Hogan guy. Roman can get a pop. When Roman wins the belt at Mania, God willing, let's hope we don't get off the rails and try and go crazy and get super creative and book ourselves into a butthole. But Roman's not going to get a Hogan pop.
Right.
Cody's not going to get a Hogan pop. CM Punk's not going to get a Hogan pop. And Randy Orton's not going to get a Hogan pop. Those are your four main eventers. Oba might get a Hogan pop if he beats Brock. If he pins Brock Lesnar's shoulders down 1, 2, 3 at WrestleMania, he may get a Hogan pop, but that's neither here nor there.
So that's part of a conversation that I want to get into later. Just table that and remember that.
Okay.
All right, but let's we're talking about the Hogan pop. Andre, the booze that he was getting coming out to the ring.
Yeah.
The trash being thrown at Andre.
No, they hated him. They despised him.
So why did they hate him? That's
because Hulk Hogan was their hero. He turned his back on their hero.
Because they were, before that moment, they were friends.
Yeah, they were best friends.
They were best friends.
Uh-huh.
And then you had Andre turn on Hogan in a segment a couple weeks before that, right?
Where he Piper's Pit,
where he
ripped off the tank top,
chain and everything.
Ripped off the crucifix.
Hogan was bleeding from his chest, everything, right? So that's why Andre got the booze and the hatred and everything, because Hogan even said, "Look, man, you the one that went back to the Heenan family. You should have gone back to them."
He said, "What are you doing?" He said, the fact that you would side in with Bobby Heenan just shows that you're not even the same guy anymore.
You're not the same guy." So I'm looking at Hogan, in some of that, pre-release, footage there, and I'm looking at Hogan. First thing I noticed about Hogan, I forgot how big Hogan was.
Yeah. So when him and Andre, I mean, they billed Andre as 7'4". He was really like 7 foot, but Hogan was 6'8". Hogan wasn't no baby next to Andre.
I mean, when you look at Hogan, Hogan's face is all up in the mic like this right here, and that mic's looking small compared to his face. Like, I'm like, dude.
Although if you pan over and look at Andre's head was about the size of Hogan's abdomen at that point. Oh, God.
Andre was at his biggest.
Well, at that point, that gigantism, that thyroid issue that he had, it took over, because I mean, his extremities, like if you look at his hand, he put his hand on Bob Ueckers' shoulder.
It looked like Bob Ueckers' head was like a
pimple he basically just engulfed the whole thing, and I'm just like, God, that man was a big man.
But that the entrances, were just out of this world. But that's the one thing that I took away from Hogan's entrance. I was like, that's what they want for Cody.
Yeah.
And you made a good point. Cody he's up there with a bunch of guys that are a bunch of Hogans all together. I mean, he's not just the one, right? But also the storytelling between Andre and Hogan, the best friends thing, right? They're trying to play into that a little bit between Randy and Cody.
They are.
They're trying to play into that a little bit. But
they need to lean into it the way Hogan and Andre did, though. I mean,
correct.
Because
it's more like you hurt me.
Yeah, if you take 40 years difference, right, everything's more advanced than it was in 87, obviously, right? Everything. Except genuine feeling.
Yep.
That never changes. At the end of the day, what you feel in your soul never changes. 40 years from now, when I'm an old man, is squeaking into this mic and you're over there, still producing, still handling all the, and you're telling me, damn, hurry up, and I'm sitting there, oh, Sonny, you can't hurry up, because I remember 80 years ago, Hogan slammed Andre.
I'd be like, muting your mic, sir.
God, can you imagine how I'm going to screw this stuff up then? I'm already screwing up Bad News Brown, and I ain't even 50 yet. Can you imagine when I'm 70 trying to tell these stories? But nonetheless, back then, the feeling, and one, they had big thing. They only had one story to focus on. They had a lot of other mini stories, like Jake the Snake and Honky Tonk. They had a lot of other mini, but there was only one focal point.
Yep.
Now with the brand split and the amount of guys on the roster and all that.
Hell, WrestleMania is 2 nights.
2 nights and 2 nights full.
Yep.
But there's no way to focus on anything. You can't get fully invested in anything because you're equally as interested in this. And now the Oba Brock thing. Hell, I'm seeing people saying Oba Brock is your real main event.
So right there,
a lot of conversation.
Let's bring that back. Let's bring that back.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because we're tying this into Hogan and Andre. We're tying this all together.
The two biggest entities in wrestling going head to head.
Right. So I'm looking at Oba Brock just like the Hogan,
biggest
Andre.
entities in wrestling going head to head.
Irresistible force meets the immovable object.
Keep in mind the backstory that not everybody knew at the time, but WrestleMania 3 was Andre passing the torch to Hogan.
Correct.
It was Andre saying, "Hey, my time is done. I'm out. You're right here. You're in business."
Goosebumps.
Yeah, we're looking at it the exact same way.
The exact same thing. Oba.
But that's what they need to focus on as far as your Hogan Andre moment. If that's the match you're going to honor this year, you need to make Oba Brock as close in resemblance to that as possible, because the title matches, they are what they are already.
I hope this match does not get buried down the card.
Brock Lesnar doesn't get buried down. He's going to open.
My hope
Brock's
is
going to open whatever night he wrestles.
My hope is it's either night 1 or night 2. That match opens.
Yeah.
My fear is it's going to be so ginormous of a match that it's just going to instantaneously build up the building and then blow out the building.
So that's going to happen no matter what, because this match has gotten to that point. But that puts the onus on Brock and Oba to say, you know what? Screw it. Follow us.
Follow me.
And if you can. So it's on the rest of the roster. Now you got you got an older guy on the way out. You got a fresh guy coming in. His first ever WrestleMania. If they steal the show on top of all the other names we mentioned and all the other wrestlers that are coming, great. That's a good thing for WWE, but it's on the other wrestlers to say, you know what? We're not going to let this match overshine us. We're going to go out there and work so damn hard that our match is memorable at WrestleMania. Otherwise, everybody's going to get outshined by that, and that match might be 4 minutes.
So you said something right there. Remember us at WrestleMania. What made the wrestling fan in the world remember Hogan Andre? What made us all remember that?
The body slam.
It's the body slam.
And and Vince told every lie in the book to get us there.
Yeah, he did.
Andre's never been slammed before.
Yeah.
Andre hasn't lost in 15 years.
Yep.
Andre's never had a shot at the world title. None of that was true.
And you couldn't prove it. You couldn't prove it
there
because
wasn't
there wasn't internet back then.
Yeah, everybody didn't have a cell phone to pull it out. If you didn't have firsthand knowledge, if you weren't sitting in the AWA arena, when they wrestled at Shea Stadium, if you weren't if you weren't over there when Kamala slammed Andre the Giant off, off in UWF somewhere, you didn't know that stuff.
Didn't know.
As far as me, I was 9. I didn't care.
Right.
All I knew is Andre the Giant looked the way he looked, and everything they said looked true.
Yep.
And I said, damn, if Hulk Hogan can beat Andre the Giant, he's the best in the world. He's my hero. And damned if he didn't do it. And that's why it was memorable. Because lies to be damned, whatever. I believed it. As a child, I believed it. But what I saw in that arena when I was watching that clip back is there was a hell of a lot of adults that believed it too.
Correct. And that, to me, that's the thing. It's the slam heard around the world.
Yeah.
It's the fact that, that match was built that Andre had never been beat, and Hogan was up against a snowball's chance in hell of retaining his belt. Mm-hmm. That's what that match was built against. And for that alone, that was special.
Yeah.
Because we just talked about no internet, no cell phones, no dirt sheets, nothing like that.
No.
So all of that in that moment of time, it was real, and it's still real to me, damn it.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the biggest takeaway I can have from that moment, right? Every wrestling fan, no matter what wrestling you watch, local, independent, blah, 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 every wrestling fan on the planet knew about that slam, and they knew that moment happened. The kicker is, how many people that weren't wrestling fans that couldn't have cared less knew that at that moment happened?
Knew that it happened.
News outlets were posting that. The infancy of ESPN and net outlets like that were posting that. It was an event. It was a happening.
Yep.
It was pop culture at its finest in the late 80s. MTV was on top of it. Everybody that had an outlet that thought there was any interest in this thing called professional wrestling posted that, they put that on their networks to let it be seen. So you have people that had no idea what wrestling was or couldn't have cared less about it, watching it, picking up interest. Maybe their kids saw it while they were watching it, like, Dad, what's that? Oh, that's that fake wrestling stuff, kid. And then the kid said, I don't know, that looked pretty damn interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And before you know it, you developed a new wrestling fan. Those are the things we're missing now, the memorable moments.
It's too open. The curtain is too far
unfortunately, once you pull the curtain back, there is no closing. The horse is out of the barn now. You're not going to put it back
in the box.
Yeah, it's not going to happen now. So,
but that's the thing. That's what made, to me, Andre Hogan special. That's why they are very deserving to have their WrestleMania moment
absolutely
immortalized in the Hall of Fame. It's so great to see that they're going in. Kudos to you. And again, just cite your sources.
Absolutely.
Just cite
if you hear something you like, go ahead and give a little credit to the people that said it.
Love. So all you people out there listening to today's podcast, you throw us some love too. Go out on our social media platforms, drop us a line. Let us know your thoughts. We got WrestleMania coming up. We're speeding to it, heading fast. Don't know, what next week's going to hold, but all I know is I'm excited.
It's WrestleMania season. We're giving you a short bonus episode this week.
Yep.
Not because we didn't have more to talk about, but we're conserving time for. We know we're going to give WrestleMania its due time, so we're going to give y'all chock full episodes of that. Those are going to be super episodes, so these bonus episodes are just going to hold you through.
Absolutely. So with that, everybody, thank you for listening to today's show, and we hope you have a good week, and we bid you adieu.
Cheers, bad news. And And
today's
Stephanie,
podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.